Yep, there we go. Audio sources came back. Hey guys, it's Nerd Dad. Welcome. I hope you guys are tuning in. I'm working on getting the chat to actually show up on stream. I don't have it on all of the scenes right now, but if you are here tuning in, say hi. Today I got a special guest with you guys. It is the one and only Big Brad. Hold on, let me get to him. Thank you, sir. And you are live, sir. How are you? I don't know, cause they're. Yeah, no, thank you. You wait, hold on. Let me see. You want to give it to Uncle? Yeah. You. Hey, do you want the rest of little nerd cheetah's Pop Tart s'mores? Well, since he's always been a he, no. Come here. Say hi.
Hello.
You gotta look at the camera.
Hello.
No, you guys look at the camera.
Hello.
You're not. No, not that part. The lens part.
Hello.
There you go. He can't hear you. All right, get out of here. Daddy's working. Hey, here, throw this away. Make sure Beckham doesn't need it. Close the door, please. He can't hear you, man. He can't hear you. No, that's a 16.9 actually. So it makes it look like I'm a lot bigger. I mean, you hold this thing up. Look at that. Look how big my hand looks. It's really not because one of them doesn't leave you quite quenched. So you end up drinking two of them. So you really buy three drinks and they just split them up into six. It doesn't make sense. But that's neither here nor there. Let me get the, let me see if I can get the chat pulled up. And then we will be off. Stream.io. Where's the chat button? So go ahead and tell the people what we're going to be talking about this evening. Yeah. Man, that was impressive. You're like a pro at this. You know what? You're gonna kick me out of this chair. You're gonna be taking over Nerd Dad TV here pretty soon. That was impressive. That was seamless. Now, let me see here. There you go. There you go. You ain't lying. And I forgot to put the graphics in, but if you look in the, I'm actually updating the links right now on Facebook. I'll update them on the other platforms throughout the stream. But today's episode, today's Sunday Funday, is brought to you by Orange Pistol. Go to orangepistol.com, use code NerdDadTV. You'll get 10% off your entire order. Support the small businesses that support us. Right now, the CBD oil industry is taking off, and now with this coronavirus scare, it's got these kind of businesses at the these are the kind of businesses that you want to make sure you go out and support because they're your neighbors, they're your families. These are run by friends of mine, and they actually, and it works. I mean, they took a really simple look at the way CBD oil is distributed, and they wanted to make sure they could have a one simple dose, and you actually change how much you take versus what you need. Like me, I take it for anxiety, sleeping, for an achy back. I take it for all kinds of things. So I might take a little bit more than what they'll recommend for you to take, but it's a one simple dose, and it's really easy. So go to orangepistol.com, use code NerdDadTV. That's with a 3 N3RDDADTV for 10% off your entire order. All right, let's get into it. No, you can get 10% off with code NerdDadTV though. Support small businesses, Brad. Don't be a cheapskate. All right, so let's go ahead and just talk about what's going on, because everybody who's watching this is known what's going on around here. Because chances are they're in Jefferson County, but a lot of people don't know you actually live where exactly. So what's going on out there in California? Like, how has your life been affected with day by day to day from the start of this outbreak? So how long ago was it that the city and the county kind of shut down what was going on? Okay, so when you're saying, I know you said you work from home, but how has your wife made the transition from being, in an office space around, people that aren't you every day, and then being, around you 24/7? Well, hopefully it doesn't last that long. I talked to a buddy of mine who's actually over in China right now, and he said from the time that they did their shelter in place order to the time that he actually went back to work was about 10 days. Now there was a huge difference over there because they had the Chinese New Year where everything was shut down anyway. They just kind of extended that for an additional 10 days to kind of help quelch the outbreak. But if you look at what's happened over there versus what happened over here, they had a peak of around 83, 84,000 cases, and China's got a billion people, whereas here in the United States, we've only got about 327 million people versus the 150. Oh, it was 125,000 when I last checked it, but that was this morning. It looks like the number was just updated to almost 140,000. Yeah, 139,675. So the percentage of people, with here versus there, which you can't compare. It's not apples to apples because the demographics don't line up. You're talking about Hong Kong, where there's a huge population center, but then you stretch out those billion people over the rest of China, and there are really, really sparsely populated areas versus here. It's kind of like Jefferson County versus, LA County. Nope, definitely didn't have a question. But everything that you said up until this point hasn't been heard because I had you muted. So I guess we should just start over.
Well, what did you just say? I completely lost you. You were throwing numbers out there.
Yeah, so basically, I was saying, the way that life has changed for everybody, and then how I was talking to I was talking to Thomas Powers over in China, how they only had a 10-day shutdown, but basically because they're it was during right at the end of Chinese New Year when the outbreak happened. It was a little bit different than what you would see over here. If you look at their peak was about 85,000 cases, and they've got a billion people, whereas right now United States only has 327 million people, and we're at 140,000 cases. So the percentages are higher here, but the demographics don't quite structure the same way because the way that you only have a handful of densely populated areas in China versus here. Does that make sense? All right, there we go. Now you are unmuted. So let's go ahead and start the stream over again. For everybody who doesn't know, this is Big Brad, one of the closest friends. My kids call him Uncle Big Brad, and we will have to start over because apparently I had him muted this entire time.
And we were cooking too. We were moving.
God, it was so good, but that's cool. If we did it once, we can do it again. That's my rule.
Take two.
All right, all right. So tell them a little bit about yourself, where you're at, what you do, what's going on.
What's up, everybody? My name's Big Brad. I'm a native Beaumont, Texas, born and bred, and I'm out here in Southern California, reside in Santa Monica, California, right by the beach, but I can't use it right now because I'm in quarantine. And I'm happy to be here and excited for where this is going to go.
All right. So how has your life been affected by the coronavirus?
Um, well, my life, for the most part, has kind of stayed the same considering that I already do work from home. So for me, self quarantining has always kind of been a natural a natural thing. It's pretty easy for me to go into that mode. My wife, who works in retail, has been home. She's been displaced because obviously the retail stores are closed. So we've been learning how to do that dance together. But otherwise, um, just can't go to the beach, can't take hikes, and trying to find ways to occupy my time and stay busy.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Now you said your wife works in retail. I mean, so is she working less hours now? Like, what's her job role? How does she work retail from home?
Well, that's a good question. She's the human resources department, so she's responsible for all of the employees and all of the staff members there at the store. So obviously, with the retail stores being closed and with people whose primary jobs rely on working retail jobs, there's been a lot of back and forth and benefit discussions and so forth, as you guys can imagine. So she's stayed busy talking to the corporate offices, trying to pass along how they're going to pay people and or what the next steps are. But yeah, in the meantime, they can't really sell any product besides whatever's moving online, which I don't think is very much at the moment.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. I know right now with everything that's going on, a lot of people are just, worried about what they're going to feed their family.
Oh yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
and the crazy part about it, especially here, because they didn't issue a stay at home order until the 28th or the 29th. What's today? Today's the 29th, so the 28th. So it was yesterday or the day before that they actually issued. Yeah, it was Friday the 27th. They issued a stay at home order. So we've had cases since a week and a half ago, and now you're starting to see we actually have tests available. I mean, for the longest time, there was no tests in
Sure.
Jefferson County, and we're the most populated county out of all of them that surround us. So the tests weren't available. People didn't know that they had it. People were spreading it, and I think that now we haven't even seen the worst of it. I've been talking to people out here that work in the healthcare industry, and they are exhausted. They're working 12, 13 hours a day, having to reuse supplies because it's already gotten to the point to where they're starting to get overrun. And that's what people didn't realize at the beginning. It's like, yeah, it won't kill you, but it will kill your neighbor because there's going to be 1,000 people that get it and then 1,000 people that have to go to the hospital all at one time. And that's just per city. So if you just keep overflowing the hospitals, well, guess what? There's going to be people who get it that don't get any treatment that do die from it that could have been saved if one, they would have been, not exposed to it, or two, that 920 other people weren't exposed to it. So it's to the point to where now I feel like the biggest part of it's about the other shoe is about to drop, so to speak.
Yeah.
And hopefully, it doesn't. I haven't got it yet.
Yeah, it's crazy. it's one of those things that you obviously cannot trace to any particular person. You can do testing, but that's sparse. I don't even know if we have testing available in Los Angeles, to be completely honest. Um, I know that some countries obviously were better prepared for it, but I think that was because they had reactions to other types of influenzas and respiratory diseases that were floating around in previous years. And I think that's kind of why people have taken it lightly, is because we've seen those other type of things come into play, SARS rather, MERS, swine flu, etc. And people have always kind of thought the CDC is the boy that's crying wolf. But nevertheless, here we are. And I was reading last night that if you pass it along to somebody, you potentially could get up to 3 people sick, as opposed to the traditional flu, which only gets 1.4 people sick. So it's spreading at a tremendous rate. It's invisible to see. And I think that you don't really know where it's going to be. I don't think there's going to be a vaccine anytime soon, and it might sit dormant over the summer months because of the heat. And I understand that argument, how it might suppress the disease, but it's still going to become rampant again in the fall. So I think that we're going to potentially be in an interesting way of life for a while till we find a vaccine. That's just kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, that's definitely what it looks like. Now let's go ahead and I mean, this is all people have been talking about, and we're not here to scare anybody. We
Sure.
want to make people's lives happier. So let's talk about what everybody's been talking about. Have you seen? Hold on, let's go ahead and get this over there. Have you seen this show? Have you seen The Tiger King?
Yes, I have. Absolutely.
What do you think about The Tiger King?
Oh, I loved the Tiger King. I think that if I could go back and live in the moment where the Tiger King and visiting his farm was a possibility, I would go for the show. The guy was entertaining. The guy was eccentric. The guy had everything that you were looking for in a zookeeper. And I admired his entrepreneurship. I think he was 100% crazy, but I think everybody in the big cat game is crazy. So, if I had to pick who my
Yeah,
favorite was, I'm going Joe Exotic. What a name.
yeah.
I think
I mean, Joe.
the only thing he missed is he missed the opportunity to go triple X with it. He should have gone Joe EXXXOTIC.
That would make sense, especially when you look at the actual documentary. I mean, because the show that he had didn't really do the big cat community justice. Because when you really think about it, okay, so you gotta be a little bit off your rocker to be in the big cat community, because you are literally handling deadly animals. Like,
Yeah,
I get people that own snakes and like reptiles and small stuff, but you're literally like caging up an animal that could kill you at any point. So you got to be a little bit crazy to be in that industry. But when you look at all this stuff, and by the way, I fell asleep on it because it was everybody told me it gets better like midway through the second show, and I was asleep before the end of the first show. But I've already been listening to some podcasts that were about Joe Exotic and
yeah,
all the ancillary characters that floated through his life. And I'll tell you one, I definitely wouldn't be there. I wouldn't have ever gone to the tiger cage, because it seemed like every handsome young man that went there somehow ended up in Joe Exotic's bed. Like, listening to the podcast behind it, you have specific like people that are saying like that ended up being married to the guy that will not say that they're gay. They're like, no, I'm straight. It's just Joe Exotic. Like that. I don't. Nope. I'm out, man.
yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, I understand. He did have an abusive relationship with everybody in his life, and that included those cats. So, he did bring them into the world. He did nurture them, but at the same time, he was the king of the kingdom, and they were just to listen to him. So I hear what you're saying. Caging up an animal like that eventually is going to go wrong. Um, what's crazy to me is how big the big cat game really is.
Oh,
Uh,
it's a big
I
game.
I knew the reptile game was big. I'm not unfamiliar with the gator farms down there, and if they want to throw us a real advertisement here, we'll take it. No free ads, but you know who I'm talking about. But because
Is it
I'm in
some
with the
kind
reptile
of
game,
the
I
the
think
company
we'll.
that you're talking about? Are they a municipality of some type of reptile?
Yeah, I think you're familiar with them. They're right off of Interstate 10. You know what I'm talking about?
Go ahead. Yeah, I know what you're talking
No
about.
free ads though, but if they want to throw us an advertisement, I am 100% in because I am in favor of the big game, reptile game, but the big cat game. Uh, Besides Barstool, I'm not in with big cats, not at all,
I hear you there. Barstool,
not at
yeah.
all.
Speaking of Barstool, if you really watch the documentary and listen to the podcast, there's a lot of parallels between Joe Exotic and Dave.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I
Like
thought that
it's
was a fun article.
crazy. Yeah, I
It is
didn't read an
crazy.
article about it, but it is pretty crazy. If you watch it through that lens, it's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I mean it's true. Read the KFC blog. You know his arch nemesis at Barstool, obviously. So it's got one of those considered the sources to it. But read the KFC blog. It's pretty funny, and you're right. There are a lot of parallels between Dave Portnoy and Joe Exotic. But I'm team Portnoy. Team Portnoy. I'm team Exotic. So there you go.
I can't believe you would even say that.
100% team Exotic. He actually recently just asked President Trump for
No,
a
I'm talking
pardon.
about being team Portnoy. Do you think Trump's gonna pardon him?
Who, Joe Exotic?
Yeah.
I don't have enough evidence. I can't say.
I don't have enough evidence. Listen to you. Speaking of no free ads, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get into a little bit of an ad right here for orangepistol.com. Orangepistol.com will handle all your CBD needs. You can see right here. You see this right here. If you just go to this website, orangepistol.com, you go there, you scroll down, you get whatever it is that you want, whether you want tinctures, whether you want the CBD oil, and then when you go to checkout, hold on, I can't see what I'm clicking on. Gallery, cart. Okay, I clicked on way too many stuff. But when you go to checkout, if you just put in the code NerdDadTV, you'll get 10% off your entire order. So let's get back to the show. I don't know why that stinger's not working. Let's just cut to it. All right.
So obviously in this quarantine, we have a lot of time in front of our computer screens. So what have you seen on the internet lately that you think is stupid in a good way and a bad way that you can't believe is a trend? What caught your eye this week on the internet?
TikTok.
TikTok. All right, I'm not in the
TikTok
TikTok game.
dances are like the crazy part about the TikTok game for me is that people who shouldn't be making TikToks are making TikToks. Like I know I am not the TikTok demographic. I know TikTok demographic is you're gonna be 11 to 17. The problem that I have is when you see entire families that have been cooped up together, and you got the 13-year-old who is regularly on TikTok, get her grandpa and her uncle and her cousin, and they all do the nope, no, get out of there. Like if you are above the age of, I'll even stretch it to 34 and a half. If you're younger than me, be on TikTok. But if you're a day older than me, you do not need to be anywhere around TikTok. Unless you're Kevin Hart. His TikToks are hilarious.
I mean, I hear you, but think of it like this, right? I agree. I don't think that any of these grown men and or women should be partaking in these TikToks at all. I think it's ridiculous. They're completely missing their demographic. But are they? Because if you're, say, LeBron James and you're hopping on your son's TikTok account and you're getting blasted out to his network, aren't you just using this quarantine time to your advantage to acquire new followers for your TikTok, grow your brand, grow your clicks?
I'm not talking
Isn't
about LeBron James. I'm talking about LaQuisha Jameson, who doesn't have a brand, who doesn't have any followers to reach out to, who
yet,
is just
yet,
on TikTok
yet,
making a
but you
fool of
never know.
herself.
Yet she just needs one moment to go viral. I mean, content, you know how it is. You know how it is.
Yeah,
Sometimes you got to do it. Sometimes you got to do it.
I don't want to be one of those people that makes content about just busting your ass and then going viral and then never have anything else after that. That's just me personally.
I
But
understand. Hey, I'm with you.
now I know you don't now Facebook has been another place for insidious content where you have nothing but people arguing about where the coronavirus came from, how serious it is, and especially around here where people are much quicker to share a post than read a post.
Yeah.
You have so many times where I'll just go down people's page. I'm like, did you actually read this article or did you just read the headlines? Like people don't realize that headlines are meant for you to spread them. They're not meant for you to actually take in the information because there's just so much just misinformation. I know that Facebook is actually doing these things right now where they'll actually filter out articles that have no credibility and say, "Hey, this is fake news." Now, I don't like the fact that Facebook is the arbiter of what's real and what's not, but at least they're doing something to help eliminate the spread of all of this misinformation. But the problem that I'm running into is that people keep, spreading misinformation. Facebook can't catch everything, but at the same time, you have people that are arguing to the death on things that they have no idea what they're talking about. But I guess that's never going to end. That's always going to be there.
Yeah, the internet is undefeated because, everybody eventually gets put in their place. They think they have an opinion on something, they speak to it, and ultimately the truth comes to be. So, in my opinion, it's just an arena full of arguing. But yeah, it's crazy. I'm glad that Facebook is cracking down on that stuff to ensure that they're trying to promote positive news. We obviously know that our news gets tampered with from all kinds of outlets, and that the outlets that here are in America are slanted and untrustworthy anyway. Um, so it's not like it's a foreign concept, but in a time like this where it's not even a partisan issue and it's really just a world health issue, it's nice to see that there's some type of criteria that has to be met to post stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, the internet undefeated. People are just absolutely ridiculous on the internet. They'll do it for potentially likes. I mean, how much of those people are on there just trolling each other? Who knows?
Speaking of trolls, like right now, there's so many trolls on Twitter giving away free stuff. Like, it's hilarious when you see how many people are out there giving away free PCs or just giving away money. All you have to do is follow them and one other person, and they're gonna send $10,000 to your Cash App. It's like, man, some of these people is just, and it's crazy because if you watch the ones that do it regularly or that is just 100% trolls and they're complete troll accounts, they do nothing but post free giveaways to get followers and then don't even do anything with those followers. Like, that's what's crazy to me. It's like they get all these followers from these fake giveaways, but then they don't do anything with them. You look at the entire page and all it is fake giveaway after fake giveaway after fake giveaway with,
Yeah,
they got tens of thousands of followers where people click and follow just to try and win that computer or win that vacation or whatever it is that they're fake giving away, and then at the end of the day they don't do anything with. If I was going to have a troll account, I would definitely find a way to monetize it after I got 10,000 followers. That's just me though.
yeah. Well, not
What are you
everybody's as
seeing?
business savvy as you.
Well, I know you are more into Twitter than you are any other social medias. Like, what are you seeing on Twitter that's been kind of stupid?
So I came across this challenge. I don't know if it was on multiple platforms, but it was called the Coronavirus Challenge. I think it was trending earlier this past week, and it essentially are young people in their 18 to 20s who we have learned now are not above the coronavirus, but thought that, you know what, this is a great time to get some attention, to get some followers, to grow the influencer game. Let's see if we can lick a dirty surface, which is a terrible decision, especially in this climate. Let's see if we can lick a dirty surface and start a trend. It's called the Coronavirus Challenge. It started with a girl. Her name is Ava Louise. She identifies as a struggling influencer. So she's on the influencer game, but she's not having a lot of luck. This is her time to shine, actually. I appreciate that she's forward thinking. She's out here saying, look, people are going to be on the internet. People are going to be fucking around. People want to see interesting stuff. This is crazy. This is crazy. This will get me some followers. This might get me back in the influencer game. I respect that hustle, but this is a bad decision. She licked the pole on a New York City subway. And I am telling you guys, I am not afraid to hold a pole whenever I'm in New York City on the subway. Some people won't touch it no matter what. But in this time, in this type of climate where it could be anywhere, the surface, this coronavirus, licking a pole is a terrible idea. Terrible idea. People continued to follow through, and they were posting videos of themselves licking toilet seats. Disgusting. But this was a thing. I think it diminished quickly. I think it diminished quickly, and it was crazy. So anyway, that's what I saw on the internet. But now I'm looking into what's going to happen in the future, right? So what type of things are we interested coming into this next week? And we are starting a new segment for you guys. This is going to hopefully be a weekly segment between me and Nick, where we will give you a future outlook of some sort, whether it be relative to what's happening in the sports world or an upcoming entertainment release. But this is called Nick's Picks and Brad's Fads. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and give you my fads for the week, things that I'm paying attention to, things that I hope we can discuss again on the next podcast. First, my fad for the week is I am extremely excited about the stock market. I have been diving into what I believe is a perfect market to start investing. I've been following it every single day since I wake up, but it's already open before I actually get to my computer, and I track a variety of different stocks. Every day it's something to look forward to. It's constant action. And you know what? Now's the time to potentially make some money and diverse my portfolio. So I'm looking forward to the opening bell tomorrow. I'll probably miss it because I'll be sleeping, but I do actually look forward to seeing how I do and if we make some gains over the course of the week. I am also hopping into the digital spin game this week. Something new for me. I am a spin biker by hobby, hopefully soon by skill. And I have a pair of the shoes, clip them in. Finally got my pedals today for my birthday, which is coming up on Thursday. My wife bought me a stationary bike here at the house so I can set up. Might do a podcast from it one day, but I can ride all kinds of miles in the comfort of my own home and watch Sports Center and tributes to people who aren't playing sports right now. So that's exciting. And my last fad for this upcoming week is that it's going to be April Fool's Day. So I'm looking forward to what's going to happen on Wednesday this week and what type of fun pranks, because I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of good quarantine pranks coming up this week. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, quarantine breaks I think are gonna be really good. I mean, because you've been trapped in a house, and that's actually I'm glad that you mentioned that because we got 2 days left until April Fool's Day, and I haven't been thinking of anything. But I got three people in this house that
Oh, you've
have
got
something coming for them because I have not been thinking about. I'm glad you mentioned that. But
well,
what
you've
I
you've kind of been pranking Hawk all afternoon though, because he being a kid, he did something and he's in trouble and he doesn't realize that he has to just follow the rules right now. But you've had him running all kinds of errands for you, so I feel like you're primed for a good prank. I feel
It's
like
called
he
parenting.
he
Hey, eat back. That's called parenting. So yeah, the pranks will come. Hopefully
I
he'll be
know.
ungrounded by then. But what I think next pick's coming up, with all the stuff that you're seeing, there is a pretty big election that's coming up in November, and now you're starting to see all the electorates around the country figure out what they're going to do in November with all the coronavirus stuff because I think elections are going to be changing. I mean, dramatically. They've talked about trying to figure out a way to securely manage elections online for the last 5 years, and it doesn't seem like they've come to a consensus on how to do it, let alone the fact that even at regular voting booths, they are consistently hacked and there's all kinds of things that are done, and these things are on a closed network and are never supposed to be open to the internet. So with all the hackers that have had so much time to think that we possibly could be moving to an online version of an election is something that I'm curious to see. What I think I want to say that Arkansas is going to be releasing something next week that's going to have some type of online voting registration, online voting practice of some sort coming through. So I'm curious to see how that's going to hold up because this upcoming election in November is going to be huge. I mean, it's going to be really really big. So that's something
Yeah.
I've been curious about. And another thing that I'm looking forward to is the esports scene because honestly, as bad as my teams have been, um, in the last few years. I mean, the Giants have just been a dumpster fire since the last Super Bowl that we won. The Yankees have been rebuilding for I don't know a decade and a half now, and the Lakers. I mean, God bless
What do you
them.
mean they've been rebuilding? The Yankees were in the ALCS.
Yeah, but for the Yankees, that's like the third place losers. That's not good enough. You win championships or you don't have a good season. Like there really is no other. There's no other like. It's I mean, and maybe if we didn't play against those cheating guys who they knew every fastball that was coming, maybe we would have won a World Series. So maybe we are where we should be, and we just have to fight
No, well,
technology and nine
y'all.
other guys on the field. But I haven't been paying attention to sports that much, but since I've gotten more into computers and technology, esports has been something that I've been a lot more interested in. Matter of fact, I'm going to be live streaming a lot more on Fortnite and other video games. Okay, I'll be in there in a second. A lot of other video games and the esports scene has been picking up, and now with more and more people, finding out about it and being home and being quarantined, Twitch's numbers are up. All the
Yeah.
gaming platforms, their numbers are up. So, that's something that I'm looking forward to. But we have to go ahead and call it. This has been we got 30 minutes with Big Brad and Nerd Dad. It's the Brad and Dad Nerd Dad show. Peace out. Love you
Peace
guys.
out, guys. Thanks for
Hey,
watching.
and go subscribe. Hey, what's your Twitter handle? Twitter
Uh,
handle.
I don't have a Twitter handle. I'll create a Twitter handle for this so I can interact with everybody.
All right, do that.
I'll have it next week. Next week I'll have it.
All right.